Hey guys, it's Stephen here back with another video. You may be thinking, where the hell are you? I'm currently at the new house. I'm in the garage, which I'm hoping to turn into something of a studio. Currently, it's a derelict mess, as you can probably see around me. It's just, it's cold. It's cold and it's a bit of a mess, but I'll get there eventually. But I thought while I was here doing a bit of work on this place, I'd do a video in here so one day I can come back and do a nice before and after and see how it went down. And it'll be interesting to see, won't it? Either way, this is 5 things that we learned from Manchester City's very impressive 3-0 victory against Everton. I'm definitely a little bit cold here, but we'll get through this anyway. I'll get a heater one day. And it was a very good game of football. It was a very exciting game of football. I really enjoyed it. And also, I want to give a shout out, of course, to OneFootball, the wonderful people over at OneFootball. Have been sponsoring my channel for an awful long time now. So if you want to help support me a little bit, go and download OneFootball right now in the link in the description below. You get all your Manchester City news, your stats and information and all that kind of stuff from across the world of football too, not just Manchester City. It's where you can keep up to date with the wonderful possession stats and all the passes and all the individual stats from Manchester City's players, and it's free to download and it helps support my channel. What more can you want? Go and download it right now. You can scan the QR code currently next to my face as well if you want an easy way to do it via your phone, or the link in the description will of course work too. And I also want to say thank you, by the way, to my latest patron, Brady Ashby. Brady, you absolute legend, who's gone in at $20 tier, so he's got an EK mug and a Esteemed Kompany mug coming his way. Thank you so much, Brady. Really appreciate it. If you want to help support the channel a little bit, so I do for a living, so every little penny really does help. Patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany. And no worries, of course, if you can't, just hit that subscribe button, give these videos a like, and that is more than enough support. I love you all absolutely loads. But we're going to dive into this game now, and the first thing I want to talk about is Rodri. I'm pretty certain I coined Rod ridiculous a while back. I know it's someone's on Twitter as well. Big up that gentleman. But either way, Rodri yesterday was absolutely imperious again, and it's not just in the big games this time. Obviously, against Chelsea and Liverpool, you want him to be fantastic, and he was fantastic in those games. But more than that, he was brilliant as well in a game like Everton, scoring an absolute thunder bastard of a goal, a wonderful strike, and most impressively for me, once again, is the balance of his game right now. He seems to be able to rise to any level of opposition, regardless of what kind of game they play. In previous years, he looked very good against teams like Burnley, who were a little bit more physical, but maybe didn't always have the reading or the energy or maybe the sharpness of movement to react to the slightly better teams. But now, regardless of who we're playing, Rodri does seem to have the answer. That kind of pivot alongside Bernardo Silva and even alongside Gundogan currently seems to be a really balanced midfield three. And Rodri right now, I've said this yesterday on my live stream, the thing that really excites me about Rodri is that I feel like his ceiling limit could be even higher than Fernandinho's, and that's saying something. And the reason I'm saying that is because he's already getting to grips with the Premier League and already bossing games, and he's a damn sight younger as well. So imagine how good he could get with time and more Guardiola coaching. Guardiola got to Fernandinho at quite a late age. He was already in his 30s, I think. I'm pretty certain he was. And either way, look how good he got under Guardiola. And I think in general, Rodri could get even better, which is quite a scary thought. Imagine a Busquets-esque midfielder with the physicality and power of a 6'3" brute, learned off Fernandinho as well in terms of the energy around the Premier League. Quite simply, fantastic. The second point I want to talk about and think that we've learned is that maybe, just maybe, we probably should start trusting Cheeky a little bit more. Maybe we should, man. We always presume that, you know, I think as football fans inherently presume what they've got is the worst thing. And I know, obviously, he's made some mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes for what it's worth, but largely our transfer record and the players that we do get, they come good. We all moan about Rodri and we moaned a little bit about Cancelo when he was in out the team and we were saying we wasted money, but look at him now, world class, you know. Maybe we should just trust this team. We moaned about Diaz. A lot of people moaned about Diaz when he came in, and you know that happened. Don't pretend it didn't. It definitely did. And look at Diaz. He's one of the best centre-backs in world football. 9 times out of 10, we get it right. And when it's right, we get these legendary, potentially legendary world-class players. And when I say legendary, what I mean by that, as a Manchester City fan, you get someone who could be an all-time Manchester City great. I don't mean like legends of the game or whatever, though we probably had a few of them too, Kevin De Bruyne and so on. But largely, under Cheeky and co, they've had some misses, some bad misses, of course. Mangala, Boney, Mendy looks like one, unfortunately, as well. He definitely is one, given what he's been accused of doing, horrific stuff. But largely, our record's good. Ederson, Cancelo, Kyle Walker, Diaz, even Laporte and Stones has come good as well. Gundogan, you know, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne for only 55 million. Sterling for 50 million as well has been more than worth his weight in gold there. And of course, now the likes of Rodri and Cancelo. we get it right more often than not. So essentially what I'm trying to say is trust them a little bit more. I know they didn't get a striker, which was a blot against them, but maybe they felt the money that they were asking for wasn't quite right or whatever, or something like that, and they didn't think it was worth it given the players that we got in the squad. Maybe they're right, man. Maybe they're right. And one person thing that is right is Raheem on the right. That's the next thing that we learned. Raheem definitely should be on the right. Really, really, really should obviously be on the right when he plays for Manchester City. Yesterday, he was good. I'm not saying he was world-class and back to his salacious best or anything like that. Salacious? That's not the word. Sensational, a fiery best or anything like that. But what we got from Sterling yesterday was something that resembled what we've come to love with that guy at his very, very best. And I don't think it's any coincidence that he had space to run into. When he's on the left, he has a tendency to try and cut into a crowded kind of packed central like defence basically, and he runs into people and then he gets hesitant and takes too many touches. On the right, he's got one job. It's basically burst past your defender, get a cross in, and he's very, very, very good at that. And he's moving for his goal from an incredible Cancelo pass. Really, really, really impressive. He isn't back to his very best, and of course one good game doesn't undo a very difficult year or so for Raheem Sterling, but those signs were encouraging, and maybe we just need to play to his strengths right now. And Raheem, put him on the right, man. Raz on the right. The fourth thing we learned is Palmer is a first-team member now. He is a first-team member. This was not the performance of a wet behind-the-ears young player that you can't trust. If that had been Kevin De Bruyne instead of him in that performance, or Gundogan or whatever as a false nine, no one would have batted an eyelid in the best possible sense. And once again, he wasn't world-class or anything like that, but he was good. He was solid. He was useful. He created chances. He created good moments for Gundogan, I remember. A good chance for Bernardo as well. He was the one that instigated a good chance for... who was it? Sterling, of course, who fluffed that chance, which we didn't mention earlier, but did we really need to mention that? Sterling being Sterling. Of course, as well, he was involved in another chance, which when he turned and played the ball to Bernardo, who then found Mahrez. He had a couple of shots himself as well. He was involved and he grew into the game, and his first Premier League start as well. And he looked like just a senior player. He was there and useful and involved. All of a sudden, he seems like a viable squad member. He's not just that young player anymore. You can put him in and you can trust him. And how good is that for him? Another Mancunian in the team. I'm absolutely delighted for Palmer, and he definitely earned the plaudits yesterday. And I love him being talked about in Match of the Day too as well. It was really, really, really encouraging. That flicker then, that's a new thing. I've not been here for an extended period of time, so the lights flicked out. I hope it doesn't do it often. And finally, we've got to end on some academy hype as well after the Palmer thing. Free Mancunians on the pitch yesterday, by the way. You got to love it, though. He's technically from Salford, McAtee. I'm going to allow him, basically. But McAtee, of course, the McAtee hype, it was only a cameo. But I did have to laugh at Gary Neville saying he's like a clone of David Silva. Of course, Foden and Palmer. He said they're all like clones. And you know what you're going to get from Manchester City Academy players. And that's brilliant because they're fantastic. But that comment from Gary Neville was kind of pertinent because it proved what we know, that our academy and the training, it moulds these players to fit into this system. He moulds them to be technically excellent and brilliant and confident and just know exactly what their role is. And they're like clones in the best possible sense because they are that good and they know exactly what they're doing and they understand this football and they're given the chance to express themselves and play confident football. And that is really, really impressive. And McAtee yesterday signed the thing, man. Signed that contract. McAtee was fantastic. In only like one little kind of dribble. Like, he was obviously, he gave the ball away. But it was fantastic in terms of what it meant for his confidence and all that kind of stuff. Something exciting, encouraging and brilliant doesn't have to lead to glory. It doesn't. Sometimes it can just be a taste of what's to come. And McAtee, we are very lucky to have the academy that we've got. We are very lucky to have the players that we got. McAtee clearly absolutely wanted to make an impression yesterday. And he's a special young player. He reminds me a little bit, I've said this before, he dribbles a little bit like Kinkladze. Not quite with the pace. He hasn't got the pace of Kinkladze, but he definitely reminds me of how he darts around the pitch. And yesterday at times, it looked like a young David Silva against maybe that goal. I think it was against West Ham or Blackpool. Both of them, I think. I think Blackpool one obviously is the most famous one. McAtee is a very similar kind of player. And he's another special one off the CFA conveyor belt. I hope he extends. He should extend. It's the best place for him to be, especially given the fact that, you know, the likes of Gundogan, Jesus, Mahrez, Sterling, all their contracts are slowly running down. De Bruyne is getting a bit older. There could be a gap coming up for someone like McAtee. Sign that contract, mate. It's the best thing to do. Guys, they are 5 things that I learned from the game. I would love to know what you took from the game personally. Thank you so much once again to my latest patron, Brady Ashby, legend. Message me back on Patreon, mate. I'll get that Esteemed Kompany mug coming your way. And of course, my Patreon producer, Scott Denemy, and all the rest of the names currently scrolling down the side of the screen. Legends, a lot of you. Download OneFootball if you don't mind. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to get a coat on because I'm cold. Can you see my breath? I don't know if you can or not. But either way, one day this will be a glorious studio. I promise you. For now, though, in a bit.